Welcome to the stream. We have some fresh water. Ready for some painting. Need like a soundboard. Yay! Painting. So this is what did. Did some blood effects and such. That light. Oh, hang on. Bam. There we go. My light was done. I've upgraded the setup just a little bit. Did some blood effects. I think it looks quite good. Just gonna give him a bit more blood. It looks. I really like this. This blood splatter here. Or it's the dark maroon brown and then rusty color and it goes blood. I think that real dark brown, quite good. We did well with that color. I guess this guy needs some blood now. Not sure. See how we go. But as per last stream, we used this color. We've used the flat blue. Maybe we try dark blue. And night blue, I think. But before we do that, we need to find the silver or steel. Hit it with the vibrator. Oh, Jesus, we killed that dude. We need someone to actually put this. We'll do the steely bits first. That nice, fresh, clean water. This is one of my favorite orcs. Because he's the one that I drew his eye out. Now I'm gonna try and paint more closer to the camera. I don't really know where I put the focus. Like there somewhere. Now I can really paint nice and up close. I'm going to try and be quite quick with this one though. Because I found the silver underneath doesn't do a huge amount. Oh, that hurts my arms. That's no good. We're going back to here. I dimmed my light a bit as well. So the light isn't as bright. But I feel like I should remedy that. Paper being so annoying. Trying to get myself more comfortable here. I guess we can go ahead and paint the big fuck off sword as well. I was thinking about doing some of these like a copper instead of all like silver color, but yeah, we've got a lot of bubbles. A lot of bubbles. I don't know what's causing that. I wonder if I had a bit of soap still on the brush. Not really ideal. The soap in the paint because it does make it bubbly. If that's even what's causing it. I'm not sure why else it would be bubbly. Yeah, we're not really going to see under there. It's not really a problem. Even like a large majority of this silver that we're painting, we're not going to see. Because we'll be painting over it with blue. We're only really going to be seeing the scratches from underneath. That does mean it's quite important that we paint all the edges. Because the edges themselves are going to be where we get the most chipping effect. So those do need to be super duper painted. Right. I don't need that. No one's going to see that. But yeah, so this stream, we're back on Orc Skin. See a lot of orcs painting my future, basically. Kind of like how the bone turned out, but I'm not sure I'll do another bone knife, a bone dagger like I did on the last guy. And hopefully as well, this new camera angle, you can sort of see more what I'm looking at. A lot more in line with my own eye angle. When I'm getting into these small areas, you should be able to actually see what I'm doing. Oh, this guy's got like a peg leg. He's got everything, this guy. He's got a big two-hander. He's also got his eye's been taken out. And he's got peg leg. You guys seen some action. So it's kind of exciting. Hopefully we can do him a service. Make him look as menacing as he deserves. Do I actually have a specific chainmail color as well to color in this chainmail, but I think we're just going to stick with the silver. The chainmail is just a slightly darker silver metallic. Or just different silver metallics. We've got gunmetal, dark gunmetal. This one is a real steel or something. I might have actually screwed up because I have a silver. The silver's quite a lot brighter, and I actually meant to color all these with the silver. And this, yeah, the silver was meant to be the undercoat. Weathering and scratches. Because it's a lot brighter. So we fucked that up on 4 models now. But it's fine. Because in theory, all the scratches and dings in this arm would be extremely bright. Because it's newly scratched like steel or whatever. So it makes sense for it to be very, very bright. Whereas this application of steel is less bright. I fucked up. That part isn't meant to be metallic. You just got like knee pads. This might prove tricky. Later on, this guy. A lot of little nooks and crannies for this visual. I just really don't want to fuck up and touch his face. Because I did quite a decent job of his face. Might try a technique shortly. New technique. Yeah, I'll give it a go now. Brush off. Put paint on one side. Can't get it in there. Paint. One side of the brush. Not really working. We will just use the tip though. Annoyingly, around the face is one of those exceptions where I kind of got to do a bit more detail. Unlike the underneath of the Mini, people will look at the face quite a bit. We've got to try and nail that. I thought when I built these that these were going to be annoying. These particular parts. And I was fucking bang on. Did I glue them together anyway? Of course I did. Will I do it in future? Absolutely. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's just tedious. To be careful. Which is mostly what all of mini painting is. Just being tedious and careful. More than anything. Wait. So we're almost complete with it. We're almost finished with this game. A little bit of silver there. We'll smash a little bit more on the chainmail there. Also some on the back side of the chainmail. Well, it's not really chainmail, but it is chain. Oh, we've got this metal thing here. Whoops. Making sure to get all the edges. I can see a bunch of edges here that I've missed. The underside of him. Now I should switch over to the brighter paint. The brighter metallics, and give that a go. Oh, we also missed his shot here. Whoops, we're a little bit overzealous. Got it all over his fucking hand. But it's fine. think that is most of the metal parts. Painted in there, but I don't care about in there. Oh, no, we've got another little metal part here. Oh, and that piece does go up all the way. Right, we'll sit him down. And work on the next guy. For the next guy, I'm actually going to try the silver. Just to show the difference between steel and the silver. Oh wow, yeah, that's much better. Watching, but the delay with StruggleNet is going to be wild. Apparently, my chat overlay didn't work. And I failed to see that message on my main computer. Yeah, my Twitch thing isn't connecting. So I didn't see that message for a while. Let me log in to Twitch again. Partially connected. Apologies for ignoring you completely. I seem to have broke something on my computer. Connected 2 of 2. Right, I should now get notified when you send me a message. But here is the steel that we were using. And here is the silver that I should have used. Oh, wow. That is watered down a fair bit. Why is that so watered down? Did I not, am I dumb? Did I not vibrate it? If I did, I didn't vibrate it enough. Alright, that looks better on the palette. Try again. Yeah, there we go, there we go. That is quite a lot brighter. And quite honestly, I fucked that up because that's the one that I wanted the whole time. But I guess we'll find out. This might end up being too bright. I definitely won't use this on the weapons. This will just be the armor. It gets the silver. Why do I need so many different silvers? That is because something that like is silver needs to be a silver color. Like it's a very bright, like, I mean, you can see, I'll show you when it dries, but I have silver and I have like metal. Putting chat on the phone crashes the stream. Lol. That is unfortunate. But once I get this painted, you'll see why I have multiple silvers. Because of metallic paints, like different varying brightness levels. Like sometimes you want to paint a metal, but you want it to be like a dark metal. You don't necessarily want it to be a bright reflective metal. Like a gun. Typically quite dark, at least in 40k. People paint like gunmetal is the name of the color. Quite a dark metal. Still metallic and flaky. It's just darker. Because all the metallic metal paints just have obviously shiny silver like metal flakes in them. Which are what makes them metallic in the first place. And the only real difference is the base actual color of the paint. So if you put the same metal flakes in a blue paint, you've got blue metallic. This is more of a grey paint with metallic colors, making it a silver. But you can see already, like, the difference. Actually, on stream you can't really see much. This one's quite dark and dull. And this one's a bit whiter. Way whiter. You can see it, the bottle's probably represented a bit better, or maybe not. One's slightly brighter. And then I've got this one, which is a lot darker. That's a gunmetal. Dark gunmetal. And then I've got chainmail, which is kind of the same color. Another one's darker again. Just got 4 different shades. Received a Discord message. Lost the stream. Rip. But now I know that I'm not talking to anyone. That makes it awkward. Tried opening the chat and it died. That is unfortunate. Well, I can still talk to you as if you're here, even though you're not here, because that's what a good streamer would do. I've loaded up way too much paint and the brush to be painting such a small, tiny area. But it is what it is. I'm hoping this isn't too bright. Quite honestly, it looks kind of super bright. But after I paint this the dark blue that I'm going to paint, I might paint this guy dark blue to really accentuate the shininess of the silver. And I'll do the other one like a mixed blue. Because yeah, I've got 5 guys to paint. I've only got 4 blues. So we're gonna have to make up a blue for the last one. Some sort of combination of the two. How did I miss that bit? Seems like a bit of an oversight. To be clearly missing that. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping this turns out alright. I'm very worried about doing this next part. Really don't want to fuck up the paint job that I've done on his face. I'm being extra careful to not fuck that up. But I have a bad feeling. I mean, if I fuck up the side of the face here, it's not the end of the world. But if I get paint like on the part of the face where I've actually detailed a little bit, I'm going to be very not happy. As long as we get most of this sort of... Oh, I got a bit on his face. She'll be right. She'll be right. We'll come back to that later, or won't even bother. To be honest, no one's really going to see much of in there. I think that's all of the silver parts. Finish him up by getting the steel on his weapons. Got the stream back. Yay. Cool. My one viewer has returned to the stream. Although, in future, just a slight request, if you do disappear from the stream for whatever reason, if you could just not tell me that, that'd be great. Because then I don't have to pretend like you were like, hey, so the stream stopped working. And I was like, shit, I guess I'll just keep pretending to talk to you, my non-existent viewers, now knowing that there's nobody actually watching. Like, that makes sense? Whereas if you drop stream or leave or whatever, and I think you're still there, at least I'm then still talking to you, even if you're not there. If that makes sense? I don't know if that makes sense to you. But my brain was just for a bit like, oh, you're not there. And I stopped talking. But I'm trying to practice, like, talking. Yeah. Now, if anyone watches the VOD or anyone is actually on the stream, they're just going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Whoever you're talking to is not even there. I'm telling fibs. Because I'm getting the Discord messages. But yeah, you might be able to see now the difference in the silvers. Oh, there you go. Yeah, see the right one's far brighter than the left one. Actually it's not by a huge amount, but I have 4 different colored silvers because different metals require different, like, levels of color. Basically. Oh, that was the silver. Fuck, I fucked up. Well, you can see there the difference between the silver and the, this is the natural steel. This one here is the natural steel that I was using, and I fucked up because I actually wanted to paint them all using the silver because it's brighter, so like it'll look. The whole idea of doing this was painting the steel and then scratching it so the scratch marks like pop and come out through the paint. So the much brighter silver color was actually what I had in mind for that when I come up with the idea. And then completely and utterly forgot to use it. And I just fell back on using the steel. And it's also handy to have different colored steel, metallic colors. Because then I can do some shading with those as well. So I could probably take a bit of the silver here and like run it through. That was way too much there. Sort of mix them and like do some lines and stuff, and you'll get like a more natural looking steel in theory. One of those theories that I'm not sure. Not sure if it does anything. But definitely for highlighting, the idea was I paint the sword, and then I come in with the silver, and then I can edge it. Like so. And it gives it kind of a sharp look. Looks sharper in theory. If I do that. I don't know. When it dries, it might look better. But yeah, to really just demonstrate it, I really, as you can see, but to super duper demonstrate, I'll do a line here, and you can see Maybe you can't see, but I can see that that is much brighter. We hit up the ends. And we have a bit of a gradient of shininess. I might just do that. Because we're going to paint all this anyway, I'm going to go through and do some of the raised areas just a bit shinier. Because we're going to be going over and painting it with the color. Small deviations, if there's any like obvious lines and stuff, you're not going to notice. I don't know if the camera really picks it up. But 2 dudes complete. The other thing you can do too is very loosely mix the light silver with the darker gunmetal. Like not fully mix it, but just sort of swirl them together so that when you paint, you've got a like unnatural looking blend of the two. Kind of like how I did the blood. You do it here where it's all over the place, and then when you paint it, sort of dab it on, and then it the different shades of shininess in the metal sort of comes out naturally that way. Kind of a hack. I haven't actually tried that before, but that's a theory that I've sort of just come up with on the spot on how you might make metal look more shaded and more defined than just a flat color if you weren't weathering it like I am. Whoops. That is a technique I might have to try on one of the swords. Sort of half mix the colors. Like with pretty much everything I'm doing, it's all just complete fucking guesswork from memories of YouTube tutorials that I've watched over the last 6 months. Without any real experience into what I'm doing. That is way too much paint on my brush. That is absolutely caked on there. But with this step, we don't need to be super accurate. The next step when we varnish, we got to kind of be a little bit more accurate because we don't really want to varnish areas that are going to not be weathered. But for a lot of this, we can be very fast and loose with the way you paint the metallics. Because we're going to be going back over it again. Only our first layer. How is everybody over there in the Snap Wyvern household? Shit. Need a paper towel. Oh. I have the next best thing. Cloth. I can keep that at the ready. I don't think we did too much damage there. I really need to stop dropping these guys. Luckily, we kind of dropped him in the rust. So it's fine. That even gives me an idea. I could apply rust effects before varnishing as well. So I could do the silver. I could then go over it with the brownish red, not brownish red, but a brown, yeah, brownish color, like the actual rust / corrosion color. And dab in my rust areas. Then varnish, then paint, then weather, because then the weathering underneath will be a mix of really bright steel that's been cut. And then, in theory, peeping through the cracks and such, as well as being like silver here, we'll have some rust underneath the paint. What do we think about that? I'm going to give it a go. We're all about experimenting this week. Because why not? Yeah, you can really see in person that this is a lot brighter of a color. The stream might not be showing it, but this is like twice as bright. The silver. As the like yesterday's models were getting painted. Fuck, I dropped him again. Oh. I need my blue tack fucking blob. And I do need more natural steel. Darker metallic. Just to do his weapons. Oh, that's right. We were going to do varying metal colors. And try that effect. But I just totally forgot. I was also thinking, like, maybe some of these dudes should have a copper weapon, but not sure. They should definitely have some sort of other metal steel, but also in the lore they do make their own steel, so maybe it's okay that it all looks the same color. It is just metal. Metal's either kind of silvery or obviously like a rust brown. But I'll try some weathering effects. Pre-varnish on this guy with the axe. I thought I was nearly finished, but I haven't done the whole front side. Got this whole front bit here that I've neglected. And these weird face bits. I really got a lot of pink in there when I did that. I know, it must have done his tongue and got... Oh no, I did blood. Did blood for his eye. This guy also has lost a bit of his eye. And even they had eyes that were way too hard for me to paint. They got a drill to the face. I thought that was a easy way to deal with having to paint eyes. I would just drill them out. I think it worked. When used in moderation, it works. I can't be drilling out every single one of their eyes and making them all pirates, but I think across this whole army, there's a couple of them that have some missing eyes. As long as I don't paint on their face and fuck it up, then that would be good. That'll do. That'll do. Am I missing? Oh yeah, missing the entire front part here. Little torso area. It's extremely hard to get to. That's going to be difficult to weather in there. But in theory, it should be difficult for opponents to get weapons in there, so not being able to weather it might be fine. With the chains here, we want sort of a darker metallic. They don't need to be super bright. Missed some foot there. We're almost getting ready for varnishing. Oh no, we missed some bits here. I mean, kind of rough with these parts. Because we don't really care about the underside too much. That looks like everything of his done. Now we can do varnish. I think. Put him aside. We'll just double check. Ah, no, we missed a bunch of stuff. This guy's got a heap of little metal spiky bits on his back. Oh, we missed a whole section there of his boots. Then we've got his sword that we missed. There's an extra dagger. We definitely need to get that because that's not being painted. That's not getting colored and then weathered. That's just going to be silver. Obviously, we might do some rusting on it as well, but for the most part, that needs to be silver. Metallic, anyway. And we've somehow missed the chains at the front here. And his entire torso again. I'm just getting way too ahead of myself, it seems. With a lot of this. I'm just excited to get to the paint color, the colors, the blues. That's going to be tricky to get green in there. That's going to be very tricky to get green in there. Right. Now. I think we are approaching him being complete. What about this guy? Okay, we haven't got his torso. I feel like I did. I feel like I remember painting all that in. Maybe it's just the light. It could just be the trick of the light there. Yeah, it all does look metallic. Not sure. But I think I'm ready to move on now to the next step. Which is varnishing. The super fun step where I can't see what I'm doing. Get a super gloss varnish. We'll give it a good shake, good vibrate. No, wait. Before I do that, I was going to sponge on some corrosion. Should I give that a go? Nah, fuck it. We won't mess with the formula. Just have to remember that that's where our varnish is, in this location here. Iron this bad boy up. A big brush. I think a tiny bit of yellow got on that. Kind of yellow tinge to it. Not sure. Shouldn't. There's no yellow there. And remembering where that paint went is tricky. I think I've definitely already painted that part. I think that's most of him done. Start with the shoulders. Let me get his back piece. The really important parts are the sharp bits. Really, because of how I painted this, I'm starting with all the metal. I can probably just slap the whole thing with varnish. not really worry about it too much. Feed off. There is this weird tinge of yellow. Might be alright for us. All the little areas. That we want shiny. Nice and glossy. He's a shiny boy. I think we need more of that. I did get the gloss right. Yeah, it's the gloss. Excellent. And again, we start with the shoulders. Do the back piece. Get all those edges. All those sharp edges, very important. Sort of just dab it on there. Mixing the tiniest like glaze of rust color into the varnish might not be a bad strategy. What else do we need? We need the front. Realistically, anywhere that we miss with the varnish is just going to be super weathered when we go to weather it. So we're not super worried. About missing much. We just don't want to get this on his skin or anything. Anything that's not meant to be shiny. This is the Magic Make It Shiny paint. I think that's most of this guy done. Check in over here. Yeah, he's quite glossy. Extremely glossy down there. That silver didn't take well to the areas that are black. All right, so we have our three boys here. We won't use that water. We'll use different water. And I guess we can touch this guy up. Yeah, see this looks quite a lot nicer. With the big boss, yeah, all the armor I went over with a gloss again. I do regret doing it. It looks much nicer with a matte blue finish over top of the glossy metal underneath. But this guy's going to get the blood treatment. I do want to wait for that to cure. The varnish to cure for a day or so. So it can harden up quite nicely. And in the meantime, let's try some blood effects. We'll just start with some rust. Just try and activate this bit more. We'll do some rust effects here. Just very lightly. With the very watery paint. A bit more. See if we can't make this guy look a bit menacing. Just hint of red in there. Oops, I went a bit aggressive there. I did want only light splodges. But it's not bad. It's not. Sort of breaks up all the color. Makes him look a fair bit more menacing. And then do some on his face. This guy got any on his face? A little bit. Nah, we'll leave him. We'll leave him. Yeah. It's been successfully blooded. Not really sure what else there is to do today. Because I do want to wait for these to cure before I go over them in the paint and then try to rough them up a bit. But yeah. Kill the Brute's complete. It looks sufficiently angry. And battle hardened. I can't wait to get started on my Flesh Eater Quartz, to be honest, and really nail this blood effect. Oh, I guess, no, I can base this guy. We can use our sand color here. And this guy needs a base because he is more or less complete. I don't know if you can notice as well, I did the black rims on the other guys. Because if you don't have black rims, you're doing it wrong. Black or brown. Brown is acceptable. Don't ask me why, those are just the rules. This paint has watered down a fair bit. Since I last used it, it's going to maybe need a couple of coats in some locations. Not that it matters too much. We're going to cover it up in glue and then grass and some rocks. I kind of need to get some PVA glue that's just this color. Just mix a bunch of paint with the glue. So I did a lot of my terrain. The terrain was craft glue mixed with PVA, mixed with water. To do a lot of my terrain stuff. It's a good hack to get more out of your paint. You're just painting cheap terrain. Mix your paint with some glue and water. Makes it stick better. Righto, so he's had his base coloured. Now we can wait for that to dry. Maybe give it a blow. And I need my glue brush. It's just cheap Temu brush that I use for gluing. My little glue panel. This time using an appropriate amount of glue. Got a fair bit on there, especially around the edges. Yeah, that's kind of a one and only basing technique that I have. In my defense, it's the only one I've tried. And I'm painting the same dudes, so I think that's decent coverage. I will wipe some of that off the rim. And I need to find my rocks. Ah, they're like right here. Couple of little rocks. See if we can find a nice wedge-shaped rock, and we'll wedge that in there under his foot. Maybe one more. This guy will be mostly grass. And we protect our paint from the grass, the other elements. And the messy process begins. Start just sprinkling on the grass. Chuck it on quite thick. And in hindsight, I should have done this over top of the wet palette pretty much every time. And then I can just pick up the wet palette and then scoop the grass back instead of it being on this. But in theory, we have some grass. There we are. So this guy is mostly complete. I just need to give him a rim job. pun intended. Ah, there we go. That's better. And then you get like a little spinny thing. But yeah, he'll do. He'll do. Especially when comparing. I'm not really happy with the bone dagger that I did. But that's 2 of them done. Let me pick up some of this grass. It's just fucking everywhere on this table now. After doing it 3 times. Yeah, 3 more to go. That's my favorite guy. I think it's this guy. Yeah. Well, that will conclude today's stream, I think. That's we've got some progress. Got a fair bit of progress. We got these guys more or less primed, ready to go, ready for some more detail tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. I gotta work tomorrow, but yeah. Ooh. Yeah, we'll start with the dark blue. And then we have the... Where's that really, really light blue? This blue here. Light blue, dark blue, and then we'll do like a mix on this guy. Who knows? But they're all getting a different shade of blue. Maybe we could try like a teal color. Not sure. But anyway, I don't really have a good way to end the stream, so bye.